In this video, I'm going to show you how we can make an interactive form and embed it into a page in Dreamweaver. Now, once you've opened Dreamweaver, the first thing you'll need to do is open up your feedback page. So just double click on the right hand side. Now, on this page, we're going to add a form which allows users to give feedback on your website. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I just want to use a table with one column and two rows, so I'm going to click and drag over these two rows and press delete on my keyboard. Now, to access the form tools in Dreamweaver, you just click on Forms at the top. And the first thing we need to do is define an area on our page where we want our form to go. And we do that by clicking on the form icon in the top left. And you should see a red outline appear on your page. Now, when you're creating your form, all of your questions need to go within that red outline. Now, the next thing you need to do is come up with some questions or some data that you want to retrieve from your users. So the first thing I'm going to ask for is their name. So just type in name. And then I'm going to provide them with a text area or a text field, so you can see at the top of the page here, for them to actually input their name. So I just click on the text field icon at the top, and I'm going to call this name, and then click OK. And the users then have somewhere to input their name. Now, if I press enter on my keyboard, I can then start adding another question. So the next thing I'm going to ask for is their email address. And again, I'm going to ask them to input that into a text field. So I just click on text field again, and I'm going to call this email, and click OK. Next, I'm going to ask a slightly different question. I'm going to ask them if they found their website useful or not. So I'll just press enter on my keyboard to start a new line and add the question. Now, the answer for this question is going to be yes or no. So instead of adding a text field, this time we're going to try a slightly different answer and try a radio group. So I just click on radio group, and I'm going to label this useful info. So you'll notice each time I'm actually adding a name or a label to the answer which relates to the question. And then if I just click on the radio label here, the first one's going to be yes, and the second one's going to be no. Then I click OK. The last section I'm going to add to my form is a comments box. And a comments box will require a little bit more space than a normal text field like we've used for the name or email. So along the form tools at the top, we're going to select text area and just call this comments. Click OK, and you should see a text area appear below. Now, last thing that we need to do to our form is actually add a submit button, so that when people have filled out the details on the form, they can click submit, and the details will then be sent to you in an email. Now, to do that, we click on button at the top, and we're going to call it submit, and click OK. Now, I'm just going to highlight my button and then use the align tool at the bottom to put it in the center. We then need to click on the red outline surrounding our form, and you should see a properties window appear at the bottom of the page. In the action space, we need to type in a little bit of code, so we just put mail to : and then type in our email address. And what this code's saying is that once you actually click on the submit button, anything that's held within the red outline will actually be emailed to this address here. Now, to preview our form, we can press F12, but first thing we need to do is actually save the form. So do File and Save. and then press F12. And the form will load. Last thing you need to do is take a screenshot of your form, print it out, and put it into the front of your folder. Okay, now it's your turn.